Everybody's going to be late. Who's here? Nobody? I kicked everybody out. All right? Because here's the thing. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's why I need people to come and babysit me. Right?
Yeah, probably.
People will come in now. I kicked them out accidentally.
Okay. What? Stop it.
What?
Stop it.
What?
Hello, anybody?
Who's here? Anybody? I accidentally kicked everybody out of what I wanted to do. This is working well. See, this is why I need a babysitter. I need somebody to help me.
Look over there. Look over there.
Well, I know. It's just a couple there, right?
Yeah, not too many. Oh, now it just went up.
Well, I know, but we had a lot of people
Sit
in
on
here,
this thing.
and then sit
Oh
in my
my
lap.
god.
We had a lot of people in here, and I
It's cold.
accidentally kicked them out. That's because I have a fan blowing on my crotch. Howdy. I'm waiting for the majority of the people that I kicked out of the chat because I'm stupid and accidentally started a new live window. I don't know where they are.
Did you just kick everybody out? Literally?
Well, they have to find it again.
Oh, yes.
All right, they're starting to come in now. They're starting to realize that I'm stupid. Kim, hello from Vegas. Kim is in Vegas. What do you think they have in Las Vegas?
I don't know.
It's where people go and gamble.
What is that?
You know what gambling is, right? It's almost like when we play Uno at the table, but instead of playing just for fun, people play for money.
Oh my god.
So some people.
We should do that sometime.
No, we're not going to do that. You don't have any money.
Yes, I do. I have like a lot of money.
How much money?
$130 or something. Like.
What kind of something?
No, seriously.
How did you get $130?
Like from my books, and my allowance money, really fun stuff.
All right. Oh, see, Jen is here. And Jen's parents, Jan and Len, are going to come too.
Oh my gosh.
They're going to come and they're going to be freaked out. No, I know. I kicked everybody out of the thing. If you've got people that you know that are still in the other thing or in some sort of limbo, go get them, please, because I'm stupid and I clicked on the wrong button. This is why I need Jen here to babysit me. All right, while we're here, what did you want to talk about today?
Just wanted to talk about some music bands I really like.
Music bands you really like? All right. So give me your top. Oh, you made a list?
Yeah, I made a list.
All right, give me your top 5 bands right now.
Pearl Jam.
Hold on. Is this in order?
Yes, this is in order.
Okay.
Pearl Jam, Oasis.
Did you make this list?
No, my mom did.
Well, but you told her what to put on here.
Yes, I did.
Can you not read her chicken scratch handwriting?
I can't. It does look
Okay,
really
so
bad.
let's start over. Pearl Jam,
Collective Soul, Oasis, Sabrina Carpenter.
Who?
Sabrina Carpenter is a short lady.
a short lady,
She like this.
and that's her claim to fame, just being short.
Yeah. Then she sings a lot of great music.
What's one song?
I really like this song called Emails I Can't Send.
Emails I Can't Send?
Yeah, seriously. I'm not.
How does it go?
No, I'm not singing.
Come on now. Nobody's here. Nobody's even watching it.
No. There's like 65 people in this whole.
They don't matter.
No.
Do you know what I do every single day? I embarrass myself on the radio every single day.
I don't do that. I do not want to do it.
Okay. Well, who else? Sabrina Carpenter, you got one other spot.
Gracie Abrams, which is also.
Who's Gracie Abrams?
She's also a really good singer. One of my favorite songs by her is It's called 21, and it's a really good song. I like it a lot.
Okay. You want to sing that one?
Oh, I'm not singing.
Does it go like this? When I was 21,
No,
I had
you.
a lot of fun.
No. Seriously.
Please give me a hot dog bun.
No. Seriously.
Okay. Before you go, is there anything you'd like to tell people about your week at school?
Well, we did a lot of testing at school.
What kind of testing?
Like reading tests. One was like so long, it took like 3 days. One took like 4 minutes, which is weird. It's like a.
What did you have to read? Like you have to read stuff and then tell.
Yeah. So
explain.
There's answers. There's 4 answers, and you have to click on one of the answers.
Okay.
And
Did you get them right?
I don't know because Miss Birch doesn't tell us for a while.
But she's going to tell you eventually?
She's probably going to tell us eventually, but
what
maybe
happens
at the end of the school year.
What happens if you get an F? What happens?
We're probably not going to give up grades yet. How dare you punch me?
All right, what else?
Today we had the school store. School store is like, it's kind of like a shop, but like.
Is it like a shop or is it a shop?
It's like a shop. It's like just a big table with some like toys on it. What the heck?
You have hair in your mouth.
Seriously.
Okay, are we done? Or what else do you have to say?
And I got like this pencil and this notebook that is the mascot of my school. And
what is the mascot of your school?
A panther.
Panther. And do you know that the Carolina Panthers suck?
They do?
Remember, they had the worst team last year because you kept rooting for them because they were the Panthers, and they lost almost every game.
Oh yeah, I remember those Panthers.
You remember, and they played last week, and they just got blown out. I think they lost by like 40 points.
That's crazy. They're like, when I looked over there, it was like 17-3.
But the Bears won, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was very exciting.
How about a kiss? Go upstairs and bother your mother.
Okay.
Say bye-bye to everybody.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Close the door, will you?
I'll be watching.
You'll be watching. Don't watch. Do something productive.
Hey, how dare you?
Get out of here. All right. It's me and you. Hello. Apologize again for kicking everybody out of the original chat. I don't know what I'm doing. Tonight's beverage of choice is a Blanton's Gold. So whatever you happen to be drinking at home, cheers. I have just a little bit of homework for everybody to do today because I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about how I hear from a lot of you that struggle with your mental health with depression, and you reach out to me, and I appreciate that because you think that I'll understand, and I do, and I take it very seriously that I have a voice and I can do my part to destigmatize mental health issues. But one thing I was thinking about this week is, but I don't think we do this enough. I want you just to write down on a piece of paper. Doesn't have to be right now. It can be later this weekend or next week, whatever it is. But just write down on a piece of paper everybody in your life that you can be vulnerable with, emotionally vulnerable. Maybe one name on there. There could be 10 names on there. Just everybody in your life that you will allow yourself to be vulnerable with. It's all I want you to do. And it's an exercise that I have to do too. And I tell people this all the time. There is no cure for depression. There is treatment. I'm still a depressed person, but I get through my life better than I did before. So there's no miracle drug. We can just be there for each other, right? So indulge me. Even if you think I'm not depressed, I don't have to do this. Just write it down for me. People in your life that you feel like you can be vulnerable with. That's it. All right. People are trickling in now. because I let them hang. And we're going to have some secret documents today. But before we get to that, I do want to answer some questions from the chat. I will also tell you that I feel extra good tonight because I put a fan, and it's blowing right now, on my privates. Because there's no fan in this room, and sometimes it gets hot in here with these stupid lights on and the door closed. But today, pee-pee worky. I know the first video wasn't working. I'm sorry. We were all in the wrong stream. You were all there. I'm stupid. It's me. What's half-eaten in the pantry? Everything's half-eaten in the pantry. My wife is the most annoying person on earth when it comes to taking one bite of something. She'll open up a candy bar, take one bite, Ziploc bag that's like half closed, because God forbid she closed the Ziploc bag all the way in the pantry. One bite. She also can't close a box of cereal. And whenever I get upset that she's left open a perfectly good box of cereal to get stale, suddenly it's my fault for even bringing it up. I shouldn't even be upset about anything. I have no reason to be upset about anything. It's a joy living in this house. Full-size candy bars or minis. See, no, minis would make sense because she doesn't eat them all, but she'll buy the full-size ones, take little nibbles of them, and put them back. Do you care less about sports now or way less about sports than when I was a kid? Less. But I think that's just natural. You know, when you're a kid, I mean, it's everything. It was to me. I mean, I wasn't one of these kids like Samantha goes to school every single day. And I'm so happy to see her enthusiasm because every single day she gets up and she will literally say to me, today's going to be a great day, or today's going to be the best day of my life. And she'll go to school and she'll have the greatest day ever, and she looks forward to learning. I wasn't that way when I was a kid. I'm glad that she is because it's easier for her. But I would be the kid who sits in class with a notebook and writes out baseball and football lineups or plays that I think they should run in the Bear game later that week. I was obsessed with it. Even when I'd stay home on the weekends and watch Buckeye football when they were on because we didn't get all the games back in Chicago, or the Bears on Sunday, you know, I was thinking about going out at halftime. I'd bring an egg timer outside in the backyard and go out with my buddy and throw the football around and have a Nerf football game until that egg timer went off, and then it was back inside to watch the rest of the game. And I would always look outside during football games, and I'd see people driving down the street, and I'd say, who the hell is outside when there's a perfectly good game on television? Why are they not watching it? It dominated my entire life. Now I still get excited for things, but not like I did back then. Have I kept up with rugby? I follow the rugby on the socials, but when it comes to actually watching it, no, I'm sorry, I haven't. But I am keeping up with it on the socials. Poo Plug, are you actually leaving me for OSU volleyball right now? What the hell? How did your radio career start? I was 15. I grew up in a western suburb of Chicago called St. Charles. There was a local radio station that was run out of a house in downtown St. Charles. They played music on the AM, and you would only listen to this station to see if school was going to be closed for snow. That's the only time anybody would ever listen to this station unless you were 100 years old. And the radio station was a couple blocks away from my school. And so I literally walked there, knocked on the door, and said, "Hi, my name's Mike. I'd like to work in radio. I'll work for free. Is there anything I can do for you?" And they heard the right words, which is free labor, and gave me stuff to do. And that's how I started. For a while, I didn't know if I wanted to do radio, if I wanted to do TV, if I wanted to do something with acting. I knew it was going to be something creative because I had no patience for anything else. But this is it. Here I am. The Grand Tour final episode released today. Going to watch it. I will watch it. I haven't watched it yet. I actually haven't watched the last one they did too. But I'm a big Top Gear fan, as you can probably tell from the posters I have behind me. I also want to point out that I'm wearing my Man and Bone shirt. Yes. That you can buy in the fan store. Go to 971thefan.com, click on the cool stuff tabs, and it's there. I forgot to say hello to our sponsor and tell you that our sponsor is the Lion's Den. I love the Lion's Den. As a matter of fact, I gave you some homework earlier to write down some names on a piece of paper. Here's the next thing I would like to do for the next basement show, whenever the hell that is. Does anybody out there like to watch like British Baking Show or Great British Bake Off, whatever the hell they call it there? Because I love that show. Love it. And one thing that people will do in England when that show is on is they will get together, and it's like almost like a Super Bowl party. They'll get together and then people will bring bakes, stuff that they made, while they watch the British Baking Show. Okay? And so what I think we should do, since the Lion's Den is a sponsor of this show, is every single show, everybody brings their own sex toy that you have purchased at the Lion's Den. Yes. And I'd like you to take a picture of yourself with the sex toy and send it to me. And then I will share some of the pictures on my porn pad. I too will be getting my sex toy. So visit our friends at the Lion's Den. Promo code Common Man Sex Toy. What type of bourbon? It's Blanton's Gold tonight, although I did also bring this. Backstory on this. I love a good cordial. I love a good amaretto. I don't apologize for that. Very frequently, I will have a amaretto after dinner, maybe a Zambuca, whatever. I go over to my parents' house a couple weeks back, and my father says after dinner, "Do you want an amaretto?" I've never known them to really have it in the house, but okay, fine. I'll have some. And they bring out this bottle, and I look at it, and I'm looking at this label, and I'm thinking, this doesn't look anything like the Di Serono that I have in my house. And then he pours me a glass of it, and I taste it, and it tastes like absolute ass. And I said, "What the hell? Did you have this in the sun? Like, what did you do to this thing?" And then I start looking at the label, and I said to my mother, I said, "When did you buy this?" "I just bought it." "When did you buy it?" "I don't know." Okay. So then I do a little Googling, because that's the power of the internet. I don't know how we lived without the phone. You take a picture, you get an answer. So I figured out this label hasn't been made for Di Serono Amaretto in 20 years. Then I figured out there's a little code on the bottom of the bottle. I put in that code online. Now, my mother said she just bought this. Okay? If you're wondering if amaretto ages like whiskey, it does not. She bought it in 1991. Just bought it. They moved 3 houses with this bottle of amaretto, only to serve it to me, where I almost yacked at the table. What liquor store do I go to? There's a couple that I go to. There's the Chateau liquor store that's on Sawmill. They have a pretty good selection of wine. Most of the stuff, though, I get shipped to the house because I can't find what I want in the stores. I don't want to wait in line. You know, wines that I like, I get shipped to me from Italy. There's a guy that I know who owns a beautiful winery and vineyard in Tuscany. His name is Gianluca. He's a wonderful man. And I have him send me wine. And then I hoard it in my wine cellar over there. So if the world ends, I will be of no use to anyone. I have no ammo. I have no guns. I have nothing. I'm not a survivalist. I can't even put together an IKEA table. But we're going to have some good wine until someone with a gun knocks on the door and says, give me your fucking wine. Oh, by the way, I made the noise again. I'm so conscious of it, guys. I buy my wine from Trader Joe's. I know you do, Jen. Is it $2 Chuck? Although I did buy you, and you never told me. I gave you, I think it was 2 bottles of wine around Christmas time last year. I gave you wine. I gave Max wine, who I do not see. I gave Lulu wine, who I do not see. And I didn't hear jack shit from any of you about if you drank the wine and if you liked the wine. Poo plug, I thought you were leaving for volleyball. The others in the pantry, why is crack it open? What's the matter with you? Your husband's gone? He's watching Friday the 13th? Get naked and pour yourself some wine, woman. I need a good occasion to use it. That shit is expensive. It's not shit. It's not expensive for you. You didn't pay for it. I'd rather you drink it. It was free for you. Drink it. I like how I'm arguing with you. We got to figure out a way, man. I was talking in the office today. We got Tyler who works in the office. He makes videos. He knows what he's doing. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I really don't. Like, I got one camera on me right now. The prospect of putting multiple cameras in here and maybe splicing Jen in so she can be on her couch going, Aah! Like, I would love to do it. I don't know how to do it. So here's what I have to, I couldn't even get the chat started tonight. So I got to get like Tyler or somebody to come over to this house, set up more cameras for me, and literally have someone babysitting me when I do this show. What was that face? That's Jen's favorite face. Every time I talk to Jen and she's annoyed, I get this voice. All right, let's do the documents, shall we? The biggest question, most asked question that I get is, how do radio ratings work? I'm going to tell you. Maybe I've told you parts of this before. It used to be radio ratings were so high tech, the radio ratings company would call you and say, hello, Mr. Shits, would you like to earn $5 and write down in a little booklet every radio station that you listen to for a month and what time you listen to it? Yes? No? Okay, thank you. And they would send you these booklets in the mail. And every time you turned on the radio, you're supposed to sit down and write it down. Oh, I listen to, and this is what it used to be. I listen to Spielman on Sports on WTVN. No, you didn't, fuck. You listen to Spielman on Sports on WBNS. But because they wrote it down wrong, both of us would get credit. So even though I knew they were listening to Spielman on Sports, they would write it down wrong. They would get credit. Also, women generally are much better at homework than men are. You give men a ratings book and say, will you please keep track of what you're listening to and write it down? They're going to be like, okay. They'll hardly write it down. But women, I listen to Sunny 95 for 7 hours. And they'll put it on there. Even if they didn't, they'll write it down. And so for a long time, radio stations like ours would have the shittiest ratings in the world. Not because no one was listening, well, partly because of that, but because our rating system was flawed. So now we have a different rating system. When you sign up with the ratings company, they give you a little like pager thing. You put it on your belt or whatever, and everywhere you walk around, if there's radio on, it will pick it up. If you're at a dentist's office and they're playing Sunny 95, which they probably are, and you want to kill yourself, it will pick it up, right? It's still a very small sample size. For a metro area that has almost 2 million people in it, they probably have 100 of these meters in the wild. And that's how our entire futures are measured. But at least it's better than writing a little piece of paper, right? So here's what I have for you. The landscape of the radio business has changed so much for a variety of reasons. Ratings change, right? The way people listen to music has changed. A lot of people listen on satellite. A lot of people listen on podcasts and streaming and all sorts of stuff now. I said satellite, they were the future of radio. They're now dying just like everything else. But the listenership shifted. The music stations, even though they were becoming more obsolete, did the complete opposite of what they should have been doing. They cut more money from their budgets. They eliminated more local talent. Most of these music stations now have nobody live and local in the building, right? So local radio ceases to exist. Why would I prioritize listening to music on a local radio station when I'm getting the same local content from Spotify? Most people don't. And that's why music radio stations have lost a huge chunk of their listenership. More people have been tuning in to talk radio, specifically sports talk radio, whatever the hell I claim to be, because you can get local talent that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, now you can get me someplace else. You can get me on the phone. You can get me in the app, whatever. But live, if you're in the metro area, most people tend to flip on the radio. And we've done well because of that. The landscape has changed. The nature of sports talk has changed, where we're just not, sitting in a studio taking calls for 10 hours a day. Here's an example. I found this rating sheet. This is from spring of 2004. Okay? You can't really read that. Spring of 2004. Here we are, right here. And we had we considered these to be fantastic ratings. Our total ratings, which is adults measured 12 plus, 12 years old and up. I don't know why we call them adults. They're just people 12 and up. We had a 2.0 rating. What does that mean? We had a 2 share, actually. That means of everyone who's listening to the radio, all ages, all demographics, 2% of them are tuned into us at any given time. All right? 2 is our rating. Can we see this? Probably not. We also have different demographics here. We focus on different age groups. Traditionally, sports radio has been focused on men 25-54. I've always thought that was stupid. It's not like we don't like, I'm in that group, okay? But I always thought we should skew younger. We should try and go ethnic, and we should try and get as many women in the pool as we possibly can. And we've done that. And that's been a lot of hard work over many years. So we don't just measure ourselves now by men 25-54. We measure ourselves by people 25-54, and sometimes the younger demographic, 18-34. All right. So here was our number. Here was our rank. People 25-54, 13th place. 13th place. These were, again, may I repeat, good ratings for us. All right, here's these are our some new ratings. And let me just tell you a little something right now. Sweet Lou and Fish were not very happy that I wanted to share this stuff with you today. I told them to pound sand. All right. This stuff is all published. You can get it if you want. It's on trade websites like Barrett Sports Media. So if you want to look it up, you can do it. There's no proprietary information. Relax, upper management. We have broken down by show, right? These are from April. So this is the winter book. Our summer book has not been published yet. I have not been allowed to disclose that to you, but it's pretty similar to this. So I just told you adults 25-54. In this thing here, in the market, we were in 13th place, right? Adults 25-54 weekday prime, which we classify as Monday through Friday, 6A to 7P. In adults, 13th here in 2004, number 1 here in 2024. As a matter of fact, we reached a milestone. Usually I like to just brag about myself, but I'm going to brag about the whole station now. We reached a milestone this ratings period. We have been the number 1 station across the board in town for 1 full calendar year. I never thought it was possible because sports radio 20 years ago was a demographics play. You went for men 25-54, you got nothing else. You were happy with that. You sold your strip clubs, you sold your beer ads, that's car dealerships, that's what you sold. And now we are the most listened to radio station in the city. We are, depending on which ratings period you're looking at, the highest rated sports radio station in the United States of America. And that's across the board. And that's thanks to obviously our staff and everything, but you guys for coming along for the ride. But we break these down by demographics. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer. Number 1 in men, 25-54, 16.7 share. All right. Number 2 in adults, 25-54, with a 9.8 share. Those are excellent numbers. Bishop and Friends, number 1 in men, 25-54, 16.4 share. Number 2 in adults, 25-54, 9.4 share. Great numbers. Rothman and Ice, number 1 in men, 25-54, 16.6 share. Number 2, adults, 25-54, 9.9 share. This dumb, stupid show that you should never listen to, Man and Bone, number 1 in men, 22.2 share. And I've gotten as high as a 27, and Fish wants me to get a 30, and I tell him to kiss my ass. Number 1 in adults, 25-54, 13 share. Number 1 in adults, 18-34, 13.7 share. Buckeye Show, number 1 in men, 25-54, 17.1 share. That's all because of me, Timmy, and Titty. I am a great lead-in for you. Number 2 in adults, 10.1 share. Why do I say this? Because I rarely toot the horn of the radio station. Normally it's pissed off because of this, or management won't let me do this. In reality, I'm proud of everybody who works on our staff, whether I get along with them personally or not. Everybody on that staff works hard and does a kick-ass job, and because of that, we've managed to stay relevant when a lot of other radio stations have died, and they will continue to die. Now, raise your hand, because I can see all of you through this, if all of that was boring as shit, because I'll never do it again. Let's get back to some questions. Jen did you open the wine, Jen? I didn't know you went anywhere. By the way, you say, I'm back. I just complimented everybody at the radio station, and you were gone the entire time. The wine is good. How close to canned were you when you didn't go to break after the Michigan game? That's for you guys to figure out. What do you think about Caleb Williams? I have high hopes for Caleb Williams, not based on what I saw last Sunday, but it's his first game. He's a rookie. right? I was more pleased that the defense showed up to play and you had, 3 touchdowns from defense and special teams, which I've not seen in a long time. Rothman hit his first hole-in-one today. I heard that. Congratulations to Rothman. He's been chasing that demon for a long time. Now he says he's got nothing else to live for, so R.I.P. Anthony Rothman. Oreos, most stuff, or any Girl Scout cookie? That's why you making me choose. The answer's both. Tagalongs, Girl Scout cookie. Octopi can change colors even though they are colorblind because they're able to detect the frequencies of the color. Do you understand how much this blows my mind? I have no idea how anything in life works. I learned so much more from watching like Nat Geo on my TV than I ever learned in school. We never learned about octopus in school. I'm fascinated. Never learned about it. Can we get some commercial-free first hours on Mondays after games, or at least the Michigan game? Obviously, we make our money by advertising, and that's not going to happen. I have said that if Michigan wins this year, which they will not, all right, I will castrate myself live on this YouTube show if they do, that I'm not taking a break for the whole goddamn hour. So either they get somebody else to do the show or they just run with me. We can sell it to one sponsor. That's what sales should do. In the event of the apocalypse, Michigan wins again. This hour of commercial-free programming is brought to you by whatever, Universal Windows Direct, because I'm not taking any breaks. They can yank me out of that studio. No, they weren't teaching me about octopi. Janet, I like how you put down Jen Winters' mom. I like that. And I'm glad that you're here. I'm actually kind of scared. Drown your sorrows in ice cream. I don't have to drown my sorrows in ice cream. I came home today in a great mood because my wife greets me at the door and she hands me a pint of chocolate peanut butter brownie from Handel's. If you've never had it, it's fantastic. It's orgasmic. Chunks. And I'll tell you what, I've had this a million times in the shop, in the pint. I've had it a million times. I have never had a batch with more huge chunks of peanut butter than I had tonight. It was fantastic. I'm in such a good mood tonight because I found peanut butter in my ice cream, gobs of it. Ate at Firebirds, Polaris. I've not been there. You know who likes that place? Matty Ice. Matty Ice tells me about it all the time, and I have not been there because I like to eat at Chewy's, which is right over there by Polaris too. And I feel like if I go to Polaris and I don't eat at Chewy's, I'm letting the people at Chewy's down. Best experience in your radio career. You see, that's the thing. It's like best experience and most memorable experience are two different things, right? Best experience is probably like some rando day where Tim and Bone and Teddy and I are just laughing so hard, belly laughing about something that we can't catch our breath. Something so stupid that I can't even remember what it is. That's probably the best experience in radio. The most memorable experience in radio is, I don't know, talking to the president, or I remember when I was actually telling the story today in the office. When I first started working at the radio station almost 21 years ago, the bosses then wanted to make sure that I had credibility. So instead of me just going on the radio and earning credibility, they thought they would rub off some credibility on me. You see this, what I'm doing here? You can't even see it. So they had Archie come into the radio station. I did an interview with Archie, and they had Archie cut some liners where he would say like, "Hi, this is Archie Griffin." I can't do his voice. "This is Archie Griffin, and you're listening to 1460 The Fan and Mike Riccadongi." And he said my name like 25 times. And somewhere there are outtakes of this. Finally, he got it right. And then they would play it in the commercials like, "Oh, Archie said Mike's name. He must be good. Let's listen to Mike." Nobody gave a shit. But that's how it's like, oh, now he's going to get the rub from Archie. But just like being on the job for a week and a half and Archie comes in to talk to me, I was shitting my pants. My career can drink. Yes, it can. One of them. Tell the story of when you dated a minor. I didn't know that I told that story on the air, but I guess I did. Either that or you're the minor. You transition out of radio in the future and become Joe Rogan of sports. No thanks. When I'm done with radio, I think I'm done. You know, I don't think there's going to be podcasts and stuff like that. I was actually saying, because my wife said, "What do you want to do?" Because the plan is for me to be still a relatively young guy and be retired. We've been planning towards that when Samantha goes to college, wherever the hell she goes, we're going to go with her. She's our only child. We're not going to live in the dorm with her, but we're going to be around, and I'm going to retire. And I say, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to just design t-shirts. That's all I want to do. For somebody else or maybe myself, put together a little studio. And I feel like everybody's got a t-shirt brand, but I actually said, and I'm going to say this and they're going to hate me for it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I said to Fish this week, I said, "Fish, do you want to make $1 million for the radio station?" And he said, "Well, how am I going to?" I said, "Don't ask me that question. Answer the question that I asked you. Do you want to make $1 million for the radio station?" He said, "Yes, I'd like to make $1 million." Okay, we got the fan store. We sell t-shirts in there. We can get these t-shirts turned around very quickly. We put a t-shirt in the fan store that simply says, "Springfield, Ohio, we eat pussy." You tell me 1 million people wouldn't buy that shirt? Then, of course, I suggested, it's like, we can't. You want to make money? Are we here or not? Are we in business or not? Come on. Tell me that wouldn't make $1 million. Springfield, Ohio, we eat pussy. The tourism board says we eat pussy. I'd buy one. Of course you'd buy one. I work there and I'd buy one. You and Carpenter should host a show together for 3 hours one day. Bobby's got his thing in the morning. God bless him. I used to host with Bobby when he first started. When Bobby was just doing some part-time stuff and he was still in the league. I think he had just graduated, but he was keeping a toe in broadcasting. I used to host with Bob, and Bob got in trouble one show because he kept calling Mark Sanchez Dirty Sanchez, which I didn't have a problem with, but people did. He also, when a Buckeye football player decommitted, I forget who it was, to go to Michigan, he said he hoped the player would get dysentery and die. Now, he said it in a lighthearted way, but still, that didn't go over well. Fish isn't the same Fish from the Blitz, as you know, this is a different guy. You're thinking of Hal Fish. Our boss is named Matt Fishman. Matt Fishman, who actually, oddly enough, offered me a job 23 years ago or something, Fish. something like that, which I turned down when he was one of the producers at The Score in Chicago. Why did Coors disappear so fast? They'll be back. Don't worry about it. It's a touchy situation, but things get sorted out. They'll be back. Am I blurry? Why do I look blurry? I also have a zit. You know what I've been doing too? I was actually telling, what time is it? 45. I was actually telling Heather / Max about this, who cared so much about me she didn't show up. I'm just teasing you. She has a life. She's got a new boyfriend now. Congratulations. I don't know what it is, but I've never had a problem aging before, like getting older. But I feel like the last year or something, when I look in the mirror, I feel like I've aged quicker than I have in the past. And then I was reading this article about how human beings have two ages in which they age rapidly. One is 44, the other one is 60. Well, guess how old I am? And it's true. I feel like I've aged 10 years in the past year. And so everything else, when it comes to getting older, I'm able to take in stride. But for this, I'm buying like anti-aging creams and moisturizers and I've been putting that on. Kristen says my skin looks better, but I don't know. Just having a hard time coming to grips with looking in the mirror and seeing a dad. And I know I've been that for a long time, but I don't know. For some reason this year, it hit me differently. Downtown Dad and Mom are here. Good. I'm glad you're here. Have you had Blanton straight from the barrel? No, I have not, but I would like to. If you have any, please bring it to the radio station. The dick is getting old. What are curse words but you can't say on the air? Well, I mean, I can't say the fucks and the shit and pretty much say everything else, though. You know what I find ridiculous is that I can go on the air and I can say like, oh, my goo hole shot up some fluid into my nose. I'm trying to do something on the fly and I'm not very good at it, as you can see. And it's like, okay, Federal Communications Commission has no problem with that. But if I accidentally throw a goddamn in there, oh my God. Do you not hear me when I said goo hole before? I feel like Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy would tell this story when he was nominated for like a Golden Globe for the movie Dreamgirls, right? And he was, best supporting actor, whatever it is. And he's on one of these talk shows. What was his character's name? Like James Thunder Early? Is that right? Who's all strung out on drugs and stuff. And he's sitting on the couch. There's Coke on the coffee table. Somebody says something like, man, you don't have to do that stuff. And he just looks at him. He gives him this look. And the interviewer said, man, in that movie, when you gave that look, I knew you had become a real actor. And Eddie Murphy looked at this guy and said, did you not see the motherfucking movie where I was talking to tennis balls at the dinner table? Where I was playing every character? I was in fat suits, talking to nobody? You may not like the movie, but trust me, I'm an actor. And he's right. And so when people say, oh my God, you said goddamn. Did you hear me when I said douchebag, fun nugget, dickweed? How is that not worse? Yet it's allowed. And goddamn is not. Oh, the glass is empty. Just a little bit more, I promise. And then we're done. Pete Rose story. I can't tell. That's a Torg story. It's not a me story. Torg does podcasts every single day. Maybe he'll tell you, but it involves Pete Rose, his wife, who we used to call affectionately Yum Yum, and Peanut Butter. So that's a Torg story. Beverly Hills Cop 4, not good. I didn't watch it. I have a hard time watching movies now. I have no what am I looking for? A train of thought. I don't know. See, I didn't have the mental wherewithal to tell you why I can't watch movies. You ever meet Hawk Harrelson? No, but I wish I did. How was Star Wars? I didn't watch it yet. I'm sorry. I really did intend to watch it, but every single time I sit down, it's like, oh, look, the lesbian scene from Black Swan is here. Car you've always wanted. I want an Aston Martin, British Racing Green, with tan leather interior. And I want a gravel driveway. And I want a tweed jacket with leather elbow patches on it. And one of those little hats. So really, it's not so much the car as I just want to be an old British person. Wild Things is on again. You know, here's something stupid about me. Wild Things. Perfectly good movie with a great amount of nudity. But when I found out that like Nev Campbell and Denise Richards used body doubles for their breastises, for some reason, even though it's someone's breasts, I like them. When I found out it wasn't really their breasts, it took me out of the moment. Don't tell me these things. Pretend. Allison says, if we win the lottery, we'll buy you one. Thank you so much, Allison. And if I win the lottery, everybody who is in this chat right now will get a piece of it. I guarantee. Do you like King of Queens? Jerry Stiller is amazing. I do like King of Queens. I've seen tons of episodes because they rerun it all the time. It's a good show. Sometimes it would be a little fatiguing because you're like, oh my God, how do these people not just kill each other all the time? They seem like they hate each other. Sweet Lou is here. Where's Sweet Lou? Oh, there he is. White Sox being shut out in the fifth. Oh, you guys are taking me away from my White Sox tonight. What am I going to do? How much did you make from the beer deal? What beer deal? I've had several over the years. I've had my own beer a couple times. Are you talking about the most recent beer deal? Recent. I'm not going to tell you. I make money. Look, if you hear me on the radio saying common man for blah, 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 whatever it is, I'm making money from it. It's not that I don't believe in the product, because there are a lot of people that ask me to endorse their product, and I just don't like it. I remember this one product. This was years ago. It was like a weight loss something. Not Awaken 180. It's not that. But it's one of these meal replacement things where you have to eat the food that they give you. And it was the worst tasting food I'd ever eaten in my life. And I started doing these commercials, and I said, this tastes like the outtakes of the commercials are probably still at the radio station somewhere, where it's me just saying, hey, common man here, if you want to eat food that tastes like shit, then eat this. It was just so bad that I called up the company and I said, I'm sorry, I can't do this. Take your money back. I'm sorry. It's bad. I don't want to endorse it. I don't want to put my name on it. Does your wife still watch Everybody Loves Raymond? I know you hate the wife. See, we were talking about most annoying characters on TV or film. To me, Deborah Barone the wife on Everybody Loves Raymond, is right up there with one of the most annoying characters of all time. And let me tell you why. First of all, her husband is a sports writer. He writes about sports for a living. Yet every time the man tries to watch a game or go someplace, he gets yelled at. It's his job. Also, if you watch the show, they tell you the backstory where it was her idea to move next door to the parents, not his. He warned her. She didn't listen, bought the house anyway, and that's why they live next door to the parents. So she always complained about being miserable. It was her decision. Can't stand her. It's not a good show. It annoys me. I can't watch Everybody Loves Raymond anymore because my blood pressure goes up. All right, guys, 5-minute warning. Herbie stories, the truth. I've told all my Herbie stories, man. We went out for steaks 20 years ago. We got ketchup for a steak. Strike one. He used to hang me out to dry when we would host shows together because we'd be in commercial break. He'd be outside in the hallway talking on his phone. The segment would start. He would still be out in the hallway talking on his phone. So I got to tap dance by myself for 4 minutes while he wraps up his phone call. I'm getting emails from people saying, "You selfish bastard. Why are you hogging all the airtime? Why don't you let Herbie talk?" I would love to fucking let him talk. He's not in here. And so he finally would sashay in and then, do his thing. He had no respect for other people. I remember it was some sort of like Big Ten something, Big Ten tournament. I think it was before the Big Ten championship game. So it must have been Big Ten tournament for basketball. It was in Indy. And my friend Keith, who works at CNN now, I've talked about him. He went to Indy with Herbie as his producer because Herbie was going to do some shows out there. And they check into the hotel. And Keith just figured, well, I'll be on my own tonight because Herbie's going to want to be with his buddies or he'll meet somebody. But Herbie says to him, like, "Hey, man, why don't we go down to the hotel, have a drink together?" And Keith is like, "Oh, all right, yeah." And I remember he called me. He called me on his way to the hotel bar to have drinks with Herbie. And he said, "Man, I drove with him here. You give this guy, you're always talking shit about him. I think he's a nice guy. He invited me to come have a drink and spend the evening with him down at the hotel bar. So I think he either just has a problem with you, but he's not a mean guy. I don't know what you're talking about." I said, "All right, man. Well, I'm glad you're having that experience. I'm not going to sour it for him. Whatever." So later that night, he calls me back and says, "Yeah, Herbie's an asshole." And I said, "Okay, why?" He said, "Well, we were down at the hotel bar and he was like talking to me. We're sitting on stools next to each other. He was talking to me and he was really being very nice. He was asking me about my family and where I went to school and what I wanted to do in the radio business and all this stuff. And just as I started to answer him, somebody that he knew sat down next to him. Somebody that Herbie knew sat down next to Herbie at the bar. Herbie then swiveled his chair. His back was to Keith for the rest of the evening. Somebody more important and interesting came along. That's all Herbie needed. Swivel. Talk to the other guy. Keith's got the back. So he sat there by himself, finished his drink, ate his dinner at the bar, attempted to say, "I'm going up to my room," was completely ignored for the rest of the night because somebody better came along. That is the Kirk Herbstreit that only I know. Friends, thank you again for joining me tonight. Remember my homework to you, all right? You may think it's stupid, but just humor me, okay? Take out a piece of paper, and I want you to write down the names of everybody in your life that you think you can be vulnerable with emotionally. Maybe it's one name, maybe it's 10 names. Write it down on a piece of paper. And then we'll talk more in a couple weeks when we do this again. We're done. Good night.